The flooding this year has been downright
Uncanny.
weird, strange, unreal, whatever you want to call it. There have been 5 1 in 1,000 year rain events in just the past 5 weeks. Most recently, last week, we saw record-breaking rainfall from central Texas into Mississippi. During this, the DFW airport actually saw its wettest hour on record, seeing 3 inches in just 1 hour. This led to at least 6 water rescues and 1 person unfortunately losing their life. And that same system dumped enormous amounts of rain in Mississippi over the past couple of days, leading to an entire highway being washed away, a nursing home having to evacuate by water rescue as 3 feet of floodwaters inundated the building, and Jackson, Mississippi setting its new record for the rainiest August on record at 11.57 inches. So we call these 1 in 1,000 year rainfall events because the odds of this happening on any given year is 1 in 1,000. But that does not mean that's exactly how often it does occur. It's important to note that these events are referring to the exact location where the precipitation fell, not the entire US. So it's weird but not incredibly uncommon to see a 1 in 1,000 year flood in Missouri one day and then another one just a few hundred miles away in Kentucky a few days later, because these are 2 totally different areas, and the probability of a flood of this magnitude happening in either place has nothing to do with each other. Now, some people will argue these calculations by saying
There's no way you can know this is a 1 in 1,000 year event because we don't have 1,000 years of data.
and technically you're right. But all we're doing here is some simple math. We can plot all the data we do have from the past 100 years on a graph and make a bell curve distribution. And depending on the exact data points and the time frame for any given location, we can determine the approximate recurrence frequency of any weather events. Like I said, seeing a couple of these a year is no big deal, but seeing 5 in 5 weeks surrounded by several other 1 in 100, 200, and 500 year events is totally unusual. It's weird, man. It's freaky. And we're going to be dealing with even more big storms today, as the Storm Prediction Center has put out a slight risk of severe weather in the northeast. Check out this bad boy right here. It's going to scrape Maine, Vermont, and New Hampshire and spark some big time thunder boomers around 5 p.m. today. These could have some hailstones, some damaging winds, and maybe a tornado, but I highly doubt it. And they will be out of your hair by 10 p.m. tonight, and then we're going to be left with a little bit of cooler weather. Next system comes into the upper Midwest on Saturday into Sunday, and it does look like this could be another slight risk severe weather event as well, but we'll talk more about that as things evolve. So we've got this storm system over here in the upper Midwest on Sunday, bringing up some warm air out in front of it and a little bit cooler air behind it. Watch how the moisture dances around and moves here. We basically got a central axis of moisture right here. We've got Gulf of Mexico moisture flowing in, and everything's just kind of culminating over here in the Northeast and in the Ohio Valley. This is going to lead to a lot of rain and thunderstorms over the next week or so in this area. There will be some relief with a big cold front that's coming through this low pressure center up here near the Hudson Bay as we get into Wednesday and Thursday, but quickly things get rainy again in the southeast as we go into next weekend. We're starting off looking at temperatures well below average for a lot of us on the eastern and southern side of the U.S., but watch what happens as that storm system goes through. We are compiling the heat in the northeast, son. It's warmer than average over here on the west coast, and we're still a little bit cooler or near normal from Florida into Texas. But watch what happens here. Once again, that storm system kind of expands and stretches out this warm air, and we're separated now with 2 areas of cooler than average weather, once again sparking maybe some potential thunderstorms here, and then a heat wave and a half on the western side of the U.S. up into portions of British Columbia. And by the time we get all the way out into next weekend, we are still looking at this unusual flip-flop weather pattern. Cooler than average down here, warmer than average up in Canada. It's opposite day, but remember, we're talking about anomalies here, all right? It's not literally going to be warmer in northern Canada than southern Texas. It's just going to be warmer than average compared to cooler than average down here. And looking at the precipitation anomaly over the next 16 days, you can see where the axis of heaviest moisture is going to be right here, and some places that don't really need to see it, including portions of Mississippi and Louisiana. But you can see that Gulf of moisture flow meeting up with that leftover monsoonal flow, kind of compiling all of the storms over here in this region. But look, we're going to be quite dry on the outer banks of North Carolina up into the Chesapeake Bay as we go through September the 11th. Now, there's one thing on the GFS that may be leading to all that anomalous rainfall in Mississippi and Louisiana that might go away. Look at that thing right there in the south, passing by the Yucatan Peninsula. It is growing. It is looking very concerning, and I'm going to talk all about that right here in a second. But first, let's thank today's sponsor, DraftKings, America's top-rated sports betting company. Y'all squad, you know what time it is. It comes around every August. We all get super excited for it. No, I'm not talking about hurricane season. Come on now, I'm talking about football season, baby. And if you didn't know, college football kicks off this week, so that's why I've got to tell you about DraftKings Sportsbook. It doesn't matter who your favorite team is or which games you choose to watch, DraftKings Sportsbook is the #1 app to get you cashing in on the game right from your couch. And this season, DraftKings Sportsbook is putting new customers in the center of the action with an opportunity to instantly turn $5 into $200 in free bets. You heard me right. DraftKings is giving all new customers $200 in free bets when they place any pregame $5 or higher wager on the football team of their choice. And with same game parlays, you can combine multiple bets from the same game to give yourself a shot at even bigger winnings for the whole season. DraftKings has been around for ages, so you can rest assured knowing that your earnings are safe and you can withdraw them at any time. There is no better way to make watching sports more fun. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today. And all new customers, please remember to use my code Ryan Hall to get $200 in free bets instantly after your first $5 or higher wager. Okay, go have some fun with DraftKings Sportsbook and let's get back into our video. And bada bing, bada boom, major hurricane making landfall in Louisiana according to the GFS. Now, this is something that we've been seeing on a couple of runs now. It is actually becoming pretty consistent feature, so this is something that we have to watch, but this exact scenario is not what's going to play out. We have been in a drought when it comes to named tropical systems in the Atlantic, but that could be coming to an end here soon. We still have a lot of African dust and wind shear blocking the main development region, but a large area is now open for business on the southern side from the Gulf of Mexico into the Caribbean. And if we look at the latest from the National Hurricane Center, we have two areas of interest. The first one in the Eastern Caribbean Sea has a 20% chance of cyclone formation in the next 5 days, and the one churning off the western coast of Africa has a 30% chance of formation in the next 5 days. As I've been saying for a while now, things are heating up in the tropics, but we still don't have anything certain. We've got the GFS storm, we've got our two outlooks that we're watching in the Atlantic, but nothing is actually popping off. It's important to note that going the entire month of August with 0 named storms would be a rarity. It would be unusual. It would be weird. But as I've been saying, just because something's happening right now doesn't mean that's how it's going to continue to be. We still haven't made it to peak season yet. The good news is that compared to last year, we are very behind in the named storms game. Should the Atlantic remain without a named tropical system for the next couple of weeks, the record for consecutive days during a tropical season with no storms would be broken, and that record was set in 1999. However, at this point, it's still hard to say how bad a tropical season's going to be, even if we end up with only one major hurricane this year. If that thing decides to come towards the U.S. and your city and your neighborhood, it's going to be bad for you. It's hard to use that word right. It doesn't matter if it's above average or below average. You need to prepare now if you live along the coast, because I still think we're going to see a massive explosion of activity here in the next little bit. Don't be scared, be prepared, and make sure you have your hurricane preparedness plan in place and you and your family know exactly what you're going to do when that cone of uncertainty starts pointing towards you. And of course, if the models continue to show this bad boy right here, we're going to have constant video updates and live streams talking about this as we go forward. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel. It is vitally important that you turn on those notifications so that you know when we post new videos and we go live. Hey, super huge shout out to our members over here. Thank you guys for being a member of the channel. You do a lot more than what you realize. If it wasn't for you, there's a lot of stuff that we couldn't do. And I'm sorry, we still haven't done the members only live stream. I stupidly announced that right in the middle of my move, and I didn't realize that moving the internet around and everything was going to be such a big deal. By the way, I'm sorry for the mess behind me and the overall visible stress in my appearance. But man, I'm telling you, moving is like the hardest thing that you can ever do. I didn't realize how much stuff we had and how hard it would be to move it. And now we're starting new construction work on a new studio here. So we're going to do all kinds of members only live streams because we have to test everything out. Never listen to anything I say. Unless I'm telling you to take shelter, never listen to me. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye. Whoop.